Bem, eu gostaria de convidar agora Françoise.
I'd like to invite now Françoise Trapenard from the Fundação Telefônica, one of our great supporters and partners in the social good Brazil. And I'd like to invite Paulo Castro, the president of the CNA Foundation, to come to the stage and tell us why they're supporting social good Brazil. I'd also like to invite Alcely Barroso of IBM Brazil, our great partner, even from the time before Social Good Brazil. Well, our intention here is to have a conversation, and we'd like that this conversation be very open and good one so that we can listen a little bit about what our partners have to tell in respect to why they decided to give support, lend their support to Social Good Brazil, this innovative movement in Brazil. So, Françoise, I pass the floor to you now. Thank you, Fernanda. Good evening, you all. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you today. We were in the dressing room just reminding ourselves that this conversation began a year ago. And it's sort of magical when we are able to see it come true. It is a pleasure to see it taking form from the idea to the concrete, materialized act, and to see how many people have accepted the invitation to come here, because the magic of such an event is not the lecturers, is not the supporters, the sponsors, not even the organizers. The magic of an event is not sitting on the stage, but on the audience. And your participation, bringing about your questions, your comments, is what makes a difference between a great event and just an event. It's you who make it magical. An impressive audience that we have here. When I came into the theater today, I thought, wow, this is magic to see so many young people in such a beautiful day out there, such sunny day outside, and you were all in here open for discussion. And it's good because the world is in need of new models. It is a commonplace. We are in a transitional phase of societies. It's also another common sense, and this inquietation, this inquietude, is what made Vivo and its foundation to support, to lend their support to this event. When Fernanda came to us and told us what was her intention when she came from the United States and saw that event, and she wanted to bring this here to Brazil. I'm a convicted Brazilian, and I think that Brazil in this century has a unique opportunity, given its national culture, because of the qualities that are very characteristics to us, because of the diversity that we have, the diversity of dialogues that we have. We have the opportunity to establish very innovative dialogues. And when we bring technology into this mix, what we do is we make it more powerful, because technology is transparent. The matter is what we can do with it, and the power to disseminate, and its power of disseminating things. So this mixture of our national culture, this mixture of this recent proudness that we are feeling towards our countries, because generations such as ours, we went through hard patches and very different moments from what we are living today. But this moment brings us the freshness, this proudness, and this thing of belonging, of being ours, this melting pot, of being this place of diversity, of being a place that receives everything else, all other people. And we have so many needs as well, so many inequalities in our society that needs to be fixed. And we need to look at this in a different way. So this invitation for the social good at this moment in this country, in this social transition that we are living, and this this powerful change that we can make is the reason why we lend our support to this. It is our business that makes it possible for this social change to take place. This whole telecom industry is behind everything, but it's also the people that are using this power that are showing new ways that we have and we need to find. So seeing today these young people, this force of the state of Santa Catarina, so interested in this issue, reaffirms our thesis that in fact our country can create innovative models, can create new paradigms to make good simply by using what is ours and the power of technology. So this is the invitation for the next 3 days. Thank you very much. Thank you, Fernanda, for having opened this door to us, and we are very happy to be part of it. Thank you very much. Paulo, why does Institute CNA accepted our invitation to be part of social good? I would like to answer this from the podium. First of all, good evening to everyone. Lúcia and Fernanda. A few days ago I was asked, Paulo, is it real that you only answer a question with another question? And I said, who said that? Well, don't worry. I promise you that tonight I will answer this question without a question. And I will answer it in 2 ways. An answer that is a little longer. Please, Tamis, help me. 15 minutes, the most. And Patricia, and I know that you are there at the multimedia. Everything here is done in team, and you are, I hope, giving your support to me as well. I was remembering Lúcia and Fernanda in 2001 in our first contact. Lúcia is still with a set of ideas as usual and always, and we had our first contact. And from that conversation, a partnership was established between Fundação, CNA, and ICom. And later in this dialogue that was increased with the participation of IVA, Fernanda and her team, allowed us to advance into this direction. I'm not going to talk about technology. I'm going to talk about something I'm going to talk about something that is as important as technology for Fundação CNA. That is an organization that acts for the last 21 years in Brazil, that is connected to the CNA group that in the last century in Brazil and in the world helped social initiatives. And these initiatives have always geared towards to the activism of civil society, as an example of what we are experiencing here firsthand. We are networked, we are connected, and that represents showing possibilities to construct connections, to construct relationships, and effectively, what does that represent for the CNA Foundation? To answer the question, why social good? Connection. Connection brings to mind in the CNA Foundation, with the relationship with our partners, some senses and representations that come to our mind. What exactly does connection represent? And I briefly will share with you what it represents to CNA Foundation. Great. The first dimension that I would like to deal with is the connection with other. Needs to start in our perception, in our understanding. It must connect to our identity. Our identity represents our beliefs, our principles, our orientations, our worldview that allows us to make our choices and our bets. Ultimately, what do, what I realize expresses what I believe, and this is a permanent challenge to us as an organization. In which way does an organization in which we believe with us is represented in our relationships? This is the first dimension. A second dimension, and this separation is merely didactical is the connection towards people and social organizations. This connection that is established by pathways that were built from the perspective of collaboration, from the perspective of convergence of purpose, in the perspective of mutual respect and horizontal connections. Connection with people and organizations, and we believe that for the strengthening of civil society in Brazil and for its advancement in the effective achievement of their rights, it is fundamental, the connection with this purpose. And the connection from the local to the global, from which perspective the support to local initiatives that represent the facing of demands in several dimensions of the rights that we have as a society in Brazil have to do and have connections with the more global issues. In fact, this is a relationship that is dialogic. That is, local action that transcends its own territory, influencing and contaminating broader and more global questions, issues, and in the same perspective, global issues that contaminate more local issues. Tamis, please help me in order to keep in time. For the Institute is a establishment of a social connection, and I believe in Françoise, I think, made a reference. I think that she said that our generation, I am from a generation that when I was in college, we lived the advancement of democracy, as few of you did, but getting connected means social participation, is to connect, to participate socially in our Brazilian society. I apologize, but I think I forgot a little detail. I thought it was coming from someone else in the audience, but unfortunately it was my own. Well, I was connected, but in the wrong time. We have to be connected here. Well, thank you and apologize again. So we have to be connected to participate socially. And social participation is fundamental so that we can advance in the democratic achievements. If I were to summarize of what has to do with the purpose of our foundation, how we can promote, support the connection of people, the activism of organizations and their leadership so that they can be connected, cooperating for the advancement of the right people have to education and other rights that should be present in our society. I will keep within time, Temis. And I said I was going to answer this in two ways. In a rather longer way, which I now conclude, and in a short way. And here I say, why supporting social good? Because it has a direct connection to our identity, has a straight and direct connection to what we believe. Social good represents in its trajectory that has not started today. Fernanda has portrayed it well. And it comes to mind a quotation that is very present, a quotation from Victor Hugo. And this is the short answer. Why does Foundation C8 support social good? Because nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has arrived. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to invite Alcely to tell us why IBM Brazil has decided to give its support to Social Good Brazil. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Lúcia. Thank you, Fernanda. I think there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of human heat here, and I hope the air conditioning will keep it up. And I think this heat goes through and passes on the internet as well. Well, it is a special moment. I think we already know Fernanda and Lúcia, and I remember a lunch meeting that we had, and you were going there and you just invited us to go along. And when we come here and see this all taking shape and happening is very, very good. For IBM, we understand technology as progress. When we think the 100 years of life of IBM, we ask ourselves, how can a centennial company still think ahead? So what springs to mind, the best word to describe is progress. So to answer, the first element for the answer, this event represents a progress. And he also leads to this word. It is progress. So it is our language. It is aligned with what we believe. And we are living today a totally different era in computing. It's completely different from everything we have seen until today. It's the era of computation, not only in networks, but also the cognitive computation. It is one that understands a great number of data. When we start quantifying this data, when we start understanding a little more the behavior of people. And this event, this social good, is all about behavior. So we are not talking anything different. Social and technology are connected. Being a dentist, not many people believe, how can I be working with IBM? How can you leave your office to work with a technology company? But for me, it was not possible to work within four walls at a time that we didn't even have this network. But technology always called my attention. And though I am not within the wide generation, and I love it. I love all other generations that are coming afterwards. I love to learn from my son about new technologies. And when we look at the audience and face so many people texting and seeing those cell phones, and we may, in the past we would think that people were not paying attention. In the past I would say people please pocket your mobiles. But that has changed. I can see that today people are able to place their opinions on the net or on the internet. We have evolved. We are living in progress. So there's new era in computation that allows us to be more connected. People have more tools in their hands. They have mobile devices. We have more tools. We are more connected. So today, we are living this intelligence era. So how can we bring this intelligence? How can we interconnect people? How can we give more tools for people to achieve it? And in order to make the world a more intelligent place. And this is what IBM is committed to build a more intelligent world. And here we're not only talking about technology, we're also talking about people that use technology in a way to promote a more sustainable, a fairer, a more solidary world, and a more generous world. So I agree 100% with what you said, Lúcia. So that inspires us to look for this intelligence wherever it is. So computation is a constant challenge to us. And when we were telling the story of this, it brought to my mind what we lived through when we started. We were sort of an ET. We were always asking who has it, or who doesn't have it. And then another question is brought to mind. Social responsibility, is a fad, or has it come to stay? I remember that it was an issue in lots of debates, and we can see now that it has come to stay. And those who do not follow that, these are the ones considered ETs. And so this form of getting connected, when I heard that, where social networks are, social media, are a fad, or do they come to stay? Well, technologies can come and go, but the behavior of people, this has come to stay. This way of getting connected, of talking, of getting online, that is no fad. And though technology may change, may come and go and become obsolete very fast, human behavior does not. Human behavior will find new ways of getting connected, getting smarter, and have a more sustainable world. And that gives us force to fight on, because that is what moves us onwards. That is what inspires us. When we think on the horizontal plane, people do no longer have a vertical world in terms of information held as power on top of the pyramid. Today it is at the bottom of the pyramid, and that is the power of social media, social networks. And I think that this is all the reasons that make us believe in social good and why social good is right. And this was the reasons. Another one is the quality of the work of Lúcia and Fernanda. I think that was never an issue. How much powerful and deep would the discussions be here? So we did not hesitate. And we did our best to be here to support your event. So it is real revolutionary to make part of this new era of cognitive computation, in which computation is helping us to understand medical diagnosis. And we have a high level of wrong diagnosis, so I think computation can help us there to help us understand the behavior, help us understand the product, but it also came to connect people increasingly and to make several processes change because of this change in the behavior of people. And this is revolutionary. These are the people that are revolutionizing their complex systems. So I thank you for the opportunity of being here in this debate, participating in your event, and I hope that everyone have very good debates here with great speakers. We all always learn. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank Paulo, Françoise, and Alcely not only for their partnership, but for sharing their ideas and telling us and helping us to promote this event, having this seminar. We are not just talking and speaking about technology. Technology is a means. We are using technology as you are, using the internet. From the tip of our fingers, we can promote social change. So we thank you. I invite you to step down with me. Lúcia is going to stay and will continue in our program.